Welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about an effort at the state capitol to rid the state of its volatile boom and bust budget. My guest this segment is Bob Huff, the Senate Minority Leader. Thank you very much for being with us.
Great to be with you, Steve.
Let's back up a little bit. The boom and bust budget, very volatile, and that's because of the taxes that we rely on for most of our budget.
Yeah, I think we have actually the highest income taxes in the nation now with our so-called temporary tax in there right now, but it hits the high income earners, and a lot of their wealth comes from capital gains, and there's other things, different sectors, different years, but it is very volatile.
So during good times we're flush with money. During bad times, obviously, we're in trouble.
And the problem is that Sacramento has an appetite to spend much beyond our capacity to generate revenues. So when you have those boom periods, the feeling is it's going to be here forever. You start programs and it can't be sustained later on when the revenues slow down.
And so now, I know the devil is in the details. It always is. But you seem to have some consensus that we need a substantial rainy day fund or reserve for economic uncertainty so that we build up this fund during the good times, save it for when the bad times come, which we know are coming.
Right. In fact, we've got a rainy day fund on the books now, but it doesn't make any sense because it can be pilfered too easily. So there was an ACA 4 put on, part of a budget deal a few years back, but it's never been voted on because the majority party figured out they could kick it down the road just on a 50% majority vote. And so we're looking for something that's robust that can capture those peaks and help even out the valleys so that we don't have this starving budget, making cutbacks time when we could have just been a little more prudent when we had the times of plenty.
So now the governor's called a special session to really focus on this issue, and for the first time since, 2011, the majority party, the Democrats, have to negotiate with the Republicans because they're down 3 members.
Right. As I kind of joked, my phone's ringing again. It didn't happen as an election, but as you know, several members have helped them lose their superminority, or us our superminority. They've lost their supermajority position. And so we are back in play on things that require 2/3 vote, and constitutional amendments fall in that category.
Since you're back in play now, what do you want?
Well, we would like to get a robust fund in that, the governor is trying to do a rainy day fund that only hits capital gains. While that is certainly a volatile income source, that's not the only volatile income source. Legislative analysts estimates that only captures a small percentage of it, and we could do more. ACA 4, for example, that already is slated for the election, captures all volatile revenue sources, and it can't be pilfered easily. So we think it's actually a pretty good system. So we'll want something to look like that.
But that's that's a problem with the Democrats, part of it, because they would like a little more flexibility so that they could rate it, in your terms, for some emergency programs when needed.
Well, and if by majority vote they can declare an emergency, then it stops becoming a rainy day fund and it becomes a slush fund. Mm-hmm. If your cookie jar's opening is too wide, there's going to be a lot of hands in there pulling cookies out.
Even Republicans have changed on this. I mean, if you go back to 1999 and 2000, the Gray Davis years, when we had a big budget, Republicans put on a lot of pressure for a tax cut. And now Republicans see that we need to save this money, correct?
Absolutely. This is a so-called temporary tax, although there are calls to extend it. But while it's there, we certainly have a lot of debt, so it's hard to say that we have a balanced budget as long as you got this mountain of debt out there. So we believe that should be paid off. We should also create a rainy day fund, and that would be a prudent way to use the resources that we are now blessed with.
Any percentage of the state budget you'd like to see in this fund?
Certainly it's something negotiable with the governor. He's got his own ideas. We're trying to come to something to that sweet spot of agreement.
All right. Senator Bob Huff, Senate Minority Leader, thank you very much for coming in and talking about this important issue. We appreciate it.
Great to be with you, Steve.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. A reminder, you can see this and other interviews on My Government On Demand, also on YouTube. Have a great day.